say double honors for our apostles and elders here at Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the Lord's hopeful elect. So we're going to address the other nations real quick, because you know, like as Israelites, we do have a job to address the other nations too. Because, you know, even a few weeks ago, we had some Amalekites that walked up sneakily, and the first question was, can I do anything to enter into the kingdom? And we gave the answer, which was, you're not an Israelite. No. Now, we're going to expound a little bit on it. We can. But that's prophetic in itself, where the Lord eventually is going to say that, because to get to the Lord and to get his answer, you got to go through his people. So this is our job. We're going to address the other nations, because you know, us as Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, right? According to your father's lineage. But it's not necessarily off your looks either. It's off your spirit. Just go back to not last week camp, the week before last, and the brother from New Jersey. We treated him as a brother because I believe he was one. So it's not about looks, and there's proof that we don't just go off looks. But we know that you all listen, so we're just gonna read you what the Lord said, because if the Lord said there was a way you can make it, we would tell you, okay? And if he says that the reason you're going to get judged, like the other nations we're going to address, he writes that down too. And it all boils down to the fact that since the Israelites were God's chosen people, you other nations didn't take the time to try to help us, or to, you could say, tend to us when we were at our Lord's estate. You all instead rejoice. All of you as a collective rejoice. So therefore, the Lord got to judge you accordingly, right? Go ahead and start this topic.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 129. A song of decrees. Many a time have they afflicted me from my youth. May Israel now say, many a time have they afflicted me from my youth. Yet they have not prevailed against me.
That's what we can say as a people. Many times that these people afflicted us, but you have not prevailed because we're still here. Esau Edom has a whole system in place to ensure that we would never have come into this knowledge or the truth, really to bury the truth for the matter. But he wasn't banking on divine intervention. He wasn't banking on Yahweh Shai to send his Holy Spirit, because they believe, you mean Isaiah 14, the Lucifer scripture, the Lucifer verse, because they believe if they could bury the truth, well, nobody ever figure out. You know, if they have everything locked up in the tombs, if they have everything kept in store in secret, it would never come out. You got it?
Okay, let me start at like verse 10.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, starting at verse 10. It says, all they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vials, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations?
Right, and Lucifer means light bearer. Now, people took, when it came to Greek mythology, people look at Lucifer as a rebellious angel. He's the most beautiful angel in heaven. He rebelled. No. Okay, it's talking about a man. The same man is talking about what Isaiah 14 talking about. The so-called white man, Esau Edom. Lucifer just means he's the light bearer. Light just represents knowledge. Esau Edom has artifacts from history locked up and stored up. He has the truth of the matter. That's how he can tell a lie. Okay, he knows that the so-called, what they call blacks, have a melanin, right? In our physical structure, our bodily autonomy, he knows that's superior. So then he can tell a lie and say, no, really the white skin is superior. But he knows that curse of Cain is really their skin, but then he try to flip it to us. See, he knows that curly hair, even in the according to genes, right? Curly hair is the dominant gene. All our features are dominant, right? And what they have are the recessive. Right. Blue eyes is considered a recessive. Like I said, don't necessarily make you wicked, but it's just that fact. But what do they try to push instead? the Duke daisies, right? The blonde women with the short shorts, you know, no ass, maybe some titties, you know what I'm saying? That's the look right there. No, it's not. That's hideous. The Barbies, you know what I'm saying?
It's 2025. They got ass now, brother.
Yeah. You know, that's how they push, right? Oh, it's so hot, right?
And what's the Edomite chick that played Barbie?
Yeah, that's Edomite. But in the scripture, that whole look is considered strange.
Right.
In the Bible, that's strange. In fact,
they tried to recreate the so-called Israelite woman's physique with the veil dresses back in during the Renaissance. And they had those big veil dresses that was to try to replicate the Sarah Barton look. You know, them Edomite men was going crazy over that physique.
Yeah. Because everybody knows, like, our women, they got it naturally. Because somebody found me the yellow blonde hair. Because their appearance is actually considered strange, right? They're the only ones on the planet that have that appearance. Back then, everybody had melanin. Like I said, you know, everybody knows our women got it naturally. Some of the heathen women got it naturally, like Elam. But then there's some that the Lord just didn't bless with that, like Moab, and they just don't got it. They just don't. But when it comes to our appearance, they would try to water our image down and make it seem like we should be ashamed to be black because it's associated with darkness, right? When we say black, we're not black, we're brown, but you should be ashamed to be brown because they're trying to push their image. But they know that really they're the weaker because they have to wear sunscreen for protection because just genetically, right? They don't have that protection. So too long exposure in the sun will lead to burns and their skin will peel. But how did they flip that? They gotta say, we got the curse of Cain. Our heads are nappy and all that, but that's actually a good thing, you know, because with our hair, we can go straight and then go back nappy, you know what I'm saying? They can't do, well, they got a whole procedure now where they can do all that, right? They can perm it and all that, but so it shows that it's better to have one that can do both versus one that can only do one, you know? So the point is they have to have the truth in order to tell a lie. That's my father. Okay, well, you get play it, brother. You got it.
God, this is the book of Leviticus, chapter 13, verse 29. If a man or a woman have a plague upon the head or the beard, then the priest shall see the plague. And behold, if it be in sight deeper than the skin, and there be in it a yellow thin hair, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean.
Right. Back then they were all men of color. So if you had those, spots in your skin and stuff, you'd have to go get looked at because that shows that something was wrong. Miriam was basically looked like the so-called white woman. Moses, when he put his hand in the bosom and came out, it basically looked like the hand of, so he basically lost all his melanin, but then he came back. So that's proof that these men were ancient, were men of color. And that's proof that the way that these people look is on the verge of uncleanliness. But they tried to push that, and that's the image that people want to be, and try to demonize our image because they got the truth. So you got to have the truth in order to tell a lie. That's Esau, he's Lucifer, right? So since he had the knowledge, right, he was able to go and spin lies, just like he's able to conceal the fact of who we are. So his whole life he thought, now the truth can forever be buried because we control the truth. They wasn't banking on Yahweh Shai to send the Holy Spirit amongst us. Then we woke up to the fact that we're Israelites. They're mind blown. How did they get it? We have a whole system in place to ensure that knowledge stays buried forever. They wasn't banking on divine intervention.
Right.
That's how the Lord swooped down, and now we got the truth, and like a mustard seed, it grew into a great tree. And that's why now they're reacting accordingly, right? Like in the Matrix. We got to react. Somebody is trying to lead the system. And what do they tell Neo? They say you're an anomaly. When you look up anomaly, it just means somebody who goes against the norm. Basically, you're not following the same protocol. You're going alternate. He's like, what did he say? I'm trying to get rid of your ass. This is the seventh time. I'm going to figure out how to get rid of you. Can't get rid of them. That's the Israelites. So read that last verse again.
Back in Psalms 129, verse 2, many a time have they afflicted me from my youth, yet they have not prevailed against me.
That's what we can say as a people. Many you afflicted, but you have not prevailed. We're still here. We still have the truth. We still have this knowledge.
Okay? The flowers plowed upon my back. They made long their furrows. The Lord is righteous. He hath cut asunder the cords of the wicked. Let them all be confounded and turned back that hate Zion. Let them be as the grass upon the housetop, which withereth aforetime, which withereth afore it groweth up, wherewith the mower filleth not his hand, nor he that bindeth sheaves his bosom. Neither do they which go by say, the blessing of the Lord be upon you. We bless you in the name of the Lord.
Right. That's what you know the heathens didn't do. Because you knew, right, that we're the Israelites. You knew that in the midst of our oppression that we were lost and that we were being led astray. You knew it because you come over here and you set up business. And you teach it to your friends in Saudi Arabia or in China. You send them all over here to make money. Like we say, Moab, for example, the Chinese, right? They know our black women can't grow hair like that. And they study it. Why is that? They know that it goes back to the scripture, right? But what do they say? Well, we can capitalize off this. But did they ever have the attitude of saying, you know what, let's have some sympathy upon them. Let's open the door to let them get in to make some money, to make some business. No, they never did that. Same with Elon, okay, and Ishmael, right? They act like they're your friend. Did they ever teach you how to start a business and gas stations and get the liquor stores going? No, they never did. But they teach one another, and behind the scenes, they're talking. Even when it comes to like prisons, right? They have auctions behind the scenes of selling clothes, toothbrushes, all these things. Prisons are big. So they already understand, okay, we work with the CIA, we work with the rap music, we get all these, we can all be rich. These are things that go on behind the scenes. Okay? They know this. Did they ever take the time to say, hey man, you know what? Let's actually go and tell them the reasons how we're so successful. Let's encourage these people to come in, because you set up the liquor stores only in the hood. You ain't going to the white neighborhoods then, because you ain't going to run no business. Going to our people hood, because you know our people down bad. You know that liquor is like their only relief. They fucked up, and you selling them cigarettes and all that. You got the pork stations in the food to selling pork, but you yourself won't eat it. And you know, like, yeah, we capitalizing off y'all. Did any of y'all take the time to say, you know what? Look, may the Lord bless y'all. Y'all the children of Israel, baby. Y'all why y'all shall bless y'all. Y'all down bad, you know. Did they ever do that? No. You didn't do that. But all you did was capitalize. So therefore, in the judgment of the Lord, you have to pay for that. And it's written.
The book of Psalms, chapter 83. Psalms 83, verse 1. Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh. Hold not thy peace. Be not still, O Yahweh. For lo, thy enemies have taken tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy hidden ones, against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
That's what we're talking about. That crafty counsel. Let's do away with the name. And we could forever have these people in slavery. We could just forever be rich. So you got generations of businesses being passed down. Like I said, we're talking about Moab, we're talking about Ishmael, okay, we're talking about Elam. All of these businesses they got set up to capitalize off of our people's downfall. They've been passing that down for generations. Okay? The wealth of the so-called Jew goes back to slavery. They still sitting on slavery money because of their unjust practices back then. But are they going to tell? No, they keep that in themselves, but they'll never come out and say, you know, because they'll teach their children. So we had this house for generations, and we basically had it because our ancestors go back to slave owners, and we still reaching off that. Have any of them had a change of heart to say, man, you know what, I think I deserve to share this with the Negroes or the Native Americans. We should set up our own land for Native Americans. They deserve it. We've been living sumptuously, that's the word, for generations. Let's at least give them that. No, you didn't do that. You know? But you said, as long as we keep them in slavery, we will maintain, we can all get rich off them forever.
God, to your point, this is Jeremiah 15 and verse 5, and it reads, "For who shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem? Or who shall bemoan thee? Who shall bemoan thee? Or who shall go aside to ask how thou doest?"
Right. Because the Lord is saying, as much as you want to follow these other nations, Israel, just know none of them care about you. Who's going to feel sorry for you? To this day, we feel sorry for you. Where is our seat at the UN? We don't have one. Who's standing up, beseeching on the behalf of the so-called Negro Black Native Americans in the land of America? Nobody. Why? Nobody cares. They only care about themselves and their business. None of them took. They know the oppression over here. They just said we don't care. We don't do nothing about it. The least that these other nations could do, because they'll tell you. You talk to an Ishmaelite long enough, they'll tell you, yeah, we know. It should. Okay, well, where's your YouTube channel telling our people who they are? Okay. They'll listen to you, damn it. They ain't gonna listen to us. They'll listen to you before they listen to us. That's the type of people we dealing with. You know? Well, where's your efforts in waking our people up? Tapping on the shoulder, hey, look, man, you shouldn't do that. You guys should. Or riding through the hood and say, hey, Yahweh, Yahweh, bless you. Why didn't you all do that? You know? Because you were happy that we are at our lowest state. And now that we're coming back up, the power of Yahweh Shem outside. Now there's movement. Now it's, oh, wait a minute, y'all racist. We gotta stop that. The kingdom is for all. They're sending the vocabularies around to try to deceive you, right? Talking about some, oh, I do this because I really love you. No, you don't. Yeah, he's how's a GMS camp? Because the spirit of Yahweh Shem outside. And oh, I can't believe this peaceful town has thieves try to set us up to be dangerous or whatever. But if you really cared about saving people's lives, you would go to the synagogue, okay, and save all them lost souls because they spit on the Messiah. But you worried about us. No, you're the devil. And this is the reaction that happens at the Matrix when someone decides to wake up. The Matrix reacts to make people go back to sleep, okay, or to try to pull their plug so that everything can continue in darkness as it has been.
Just to land back off what you mentioned earlier about even capitalizing off our people's ignorance. This is the book of Nehemiah, chapter 13 and verse 15, and it reads, "And in those days saw I in Judah some treading wine presses on the Sabbath, and bringing in cheese, and lading ashes, as also wine, grapes, and figs, and all manner of burdens which they brought into Jerusalem on the Sabbath day. And I testified against them in the day wherein they sold goods. There dwelt men of Tyre also therein, which brought fish and all manner of ware, and sold on the Sabbath unto the children of Judah and in Jerusalem. And I contended with the nobles of Judah and said unto them, What evil thing is this that you do in profane the Sabbath day? Did not your fathers thus, and did not our power bring all this evil upon us and upon this city? Yet ye bring more wrath upon Jerusalem that profanes the Sabbath." Right, so not only that, you always had 2/3 of the nation of Israel that basically didn't want to worship Yahweh Shai. And that's a weak spot in the nation of Israel. And so if that's a weak spot, then the heathens capitalize off that weak spot. You know, because he said he had men of Tyre, basically bringing them in. Oh yeah, we sell fish, we sell clothes, shoes and stuff. Yeah, why not? Business as usual. God. Yeah. It says, a few more verses. "And it came to pass that when the gates of Jerusalem began to be dark before the Sabbath, I commanded that the gates should be shut, and charged that they should not be opened till after the Sabbath. And some of my servants set I at the gates, and there should no burden be brought in on the Sabbath day. So the merchants and the sellers of all kind of ware lodged without Jerusalem once or twice. Then I testified against them and said to them, Why lodge ye about the wall? If you do so again, I will lay hands on you. From that time forth came they no more on the Sabbath." Right, so yes, not only that, on the Sabbath, they was waiting outside the gates,
Yeah, as soon as the Sabbath over, we gonna go in, basically, depart from iniquity. You know, how like they do now. You know?
And y'all, you know that they knew that the Sabbath was a holy day for Israel, but yet they still gonna go up there anyway.
That's right.
Why didn't they take and say, hey, you guys know you should be doing that? You're the Lord's people, you know? That's what you should have did. And even when we went down into captivity, even today, you all still kept silent.
Right.
You know who we are. You knew the whole time that the Lord wasn't no so-called white man.
Like they got the spirit all of they don't care, we don't care. You know?
And then
That's the thing, shit. We should care.
and behind the scenes, there is an agreement between these other nations to we all keep silent. And when it comes to them, we discriminate. We got to work together against them. All right. Let's talk about Moab and Esau. They always tag team. Even though Esau is racist, every now and then you get on them, but you'll never see a Moabite get treated the way our people get treated. Okay? And they cause more accidents than ever. You know? There's a video of them, a Moabite running like an apartment complex, and basically they turn down Jake. You know? Because they got that agreement. Don't let these come in these different neighborhoods. You got that agreement. So it's like they all agree behind the scenes. Like we was talking about, brother Jackpot was talking about, they tell people who come over here when they get them established, whether it's ham, right? Primarily ham, or primarily ham, because I heard a Somalian woman say it. They teach them when they over here, by the way, stay away from them blacks. They're dangerous, they violent, and like brother's testimony told, well you can say it, what did they tell that guy that they told you, what he told you, that they told him?
They have to stay away from all the so-called blacks here in America when they come over here, or if they don't, they're going to get deported. They set up them in front of a screen or in a room with TVs, and they play all the negative things, the dope selling, the beating on the so-called black women, all the negative things they show about the American so-called niggers, and they tell them to stay away from us. If they don't, that they will be deported. They will take away all their purpose.
Yeah. See, that happens without you seeing or without you knowing. You know what I'm saying? Targeting our people for jails and prisons. I told you, because they make money off that. These people, we had an Israelite that came down today. I mean, not today. Came down eventually one day. I don't know if y'all remember, but talking about, I'm gonna be honest, black man is lazy and all this other stuff. I'm like, you're lazy, huh? I said, won't you tell me? He's like, I work 40 hours a week or 50 hours a week, whatever. I said, what do you do? He didn't want to tell us. I said, the reason you don't want to tell me is because I'm pretty sure whatever it is you're doing, in some way is capitalizing off our downfall. These people, they rich like that, just know they getting it by getting off money off our people. Selling you fake jewelry, running the liquor stores, like I said, bullshit, selling you rotten meat, pork.
Meat that fell all over the damn floor.
Yeah.
And they just,
Yep.
they still sell it. We're not gonna throw away our merchandise.
As if I would,
Make some money off this.
like I say, as if I would trust a chicken spot in a liquor store. As if I trust you motherfuckers, man. Hell no. I would never get that. You know? Who knows what y'all doing behind it? That probably ain't even chicken. It's probably pork. Or rats. Yeah.
That's why they putting all these churches on every corner too, to confuse us and to keep more people docile with this stuff in these Christian churches.
It's all an agreement. Hey, the churches are set up. That's why they have 501c3. You don't need a 501c3 to run a church, right? But our people do it because they want that money. So they can control. They want to control the spiritual religious leaders because they know that our people are spiritual. That's why that devil Margaret Sanger, what did she say? He's going to target the spiritual leaders, but what was her quote? We don't want word to find out that we're trying to eliminate them. And those spiritual leaders will be the first ones to try to speak against it if that ever came up. That's what happens behind the scenes. But you Edomites do that for a long time. Why didn't you ever take the time? Hey, all your teachers since elementary to high school, ain't none of them, they know history. Ain't none, all your history teachers, ain't none of them take the time to tell you, we're a bunch of liars, okay? Because when they teach about Abraham Lincoln, they have to teach certain sects. And we talked about that, right? paragraph. They omit the rest. Why? Well, but the teacher knows, yeah, we keep reading, here's the truth. So is actual history truth being taught in school? No. Because the day they do, guess what? They get kicked out. But where is the movement to say, we're going to teach the truth, we don't care what the school has to say, and we're going to teach you true history. All this American shit, throw that away. We're going to learn about Europe, we're going to learn about black people back then. They even put it in movies like that movie show. It's common knowledge that it was so-called black people that ruled Europe. Why isn't that in the public school? You see? So that's just an agreement to keep us down and everybody capitalize off it. So all you nations, if you're not an Israelite, the reason you're going to pay is because up until now, you all had a hand in our downfall, and you knew the truth. You knew that our people needed comfort. You knew that what was happening to us was wrong, and you knew that it had some type of spiritual meaning behind it. You knew it goes back to the scriptures, because y'all all grow up examining so-called black people like King Burger. You admire Michael Jordan. You admire LeBron James. You watching sports, you admire by those people, right? And you know, like, you got to do something special about it. I mean, let's do the research. But no, we just gonna keep it on the rap because that's the agreement.
This is quick one. 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 27. For as evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched, as with faith it shall flourish, corruption shall be overcome, and the truth which has been so long without fruit shall be declared.
Truth. This is the truth. And we know we're speaking the truth because those who come against us, moving against us, just the same way as they did in the ancient. Once we start building, then they come and try to hinder our building. Because if it's really a matter of biblical, factual truth, right? You all should be able to come up here and prove us wrong with the Bible. But you've done it time and time and through law. So you just resorted to other means. Well, I'm just going to talk shit behind a computer screen.
Defamation of character.
I'm just going to talk shit. He even had that one Christian, was he Jake? But what did he do? Put all them Christians in that room. He studied us. The Israelites said, they know what he said they studied, they're wrong, but they studied the scripture. So we gotta come together, and that's like kicking against the pricks, brother. You're doing all this research on us, and you're saying, we need them studying them scriptures so that we can combat them, right? They studied, they're wrong, but they studied.
Right. So instead of saying like, yeah, we wrong, we gotta go back to the drawing board. Right. You know, you gotta conjure up some new scriptures to combat what they recognize.
Right.
We don't know a damn thing.
Which,
Like one brother said, the Israelites are forced Christians to read the Bible with them. That's the truth. You know?
Yeah, and it's funny because none of these Christians knew what word was in John 3:16 until the Israelites came on the scene. And we started breaking it down, saying that that's cosmic, serving the second side of the people. You know, now you ask, I don't say the average Christian, but some Christians that are studying, now they know what that means. I wonder how. You know? Like it's the Mortal Kombat mirror match or something. You know, just trying to take your tactics and use them against you. No, it's not gonna work.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 23, verse 3. You read, the Ammonites and Moabites shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord Yahweh, even to their 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of the Lord forever, because they make you not with bread and with water in the way when they came forth out of Egypt.
See? And this is record. So what should you have done? Right? You should have met the Israelites with what? Bread and water. You should have tried to help. You should have just said, look, those are children of Israel. The Lord just did a good thing for them. We just gonna let them pass. Or if anything, let's try to help. You know? Even when the Lord brought us down, you as a nation should have just said, well, that's judgment from the Lord, and we're using the Babylonians, we ain't got nothing to do with that. Let's stay away from that. So when you saw us in captivity over here, what you should have did was, instead of capitalizing off, maybe like our black women that can't grow hair, right? Offer them a way to eventually run their own shit. We can say, and say, hey, listen, let me show you how we do this over here. So if you want to help the black women out, help you, now you can run all this shit. Yeah. Oil, yeah. Because they really shouldn't be doing that shit, no way. But like, hey, so at the very least, we want to show y'all that we understand why y'all suffering. Going back to Isaiah 3:16. And instead of us capitalizing, we want to help y'all. But instead, you capitalize on it, and you pass it down from generation to generation, and still treat us, hurry up and buy. Still treat you like that. Well, if business was so bad, you wouldn't be over here now, would you? Right. But because we can capitalize off them, even though we got to suffer and deal with them all today. Well, if it's so bad, why you over here then? Go somewhere else. They serving you China water, okay? They got rats back there. Rats, they spit in their stuff. Gutter oil. And they because they recycle that.
Guys, like
Crevice juice.
I put that video in the group chat. Like basically how they get the they just take raw sugar and then just squeeze it and compress it, and then all the juice and the oil come out of the trash, and then they fry your food in that shit.
And they only selling it to you.
Yeah.
They ain't gonna. You be hard pressed to find a China walk in the suburbs. They ain't gonna get no business. Okay? But they know, no, we gotta go to the hood where the chick can only afford $5 of pork fried rice. And we gonna sell it to them.
$7 combination plate.
They still buy that shit. They still buy it. But do they ever take time to say, hey, look, we're not serving pork no more. No, you're not supposed to eat pork. You're the children of Israel, such and such, such. Meaning you all took the time to have a helping hand in Israel, or at least have no dealings whatsoever, evil-wise. You wouldn't be getting the judgment you get.
They ain't gonna do that shit. Exactly. Because shit, we enemies.
That's it.
And so like, what do your enemies do? Number one, your enemies study you. And they study your weaknesses. And then once you know your weaknesses, he capitalizes off your weaknesses. So why would they?
I was gonna say, not only do they feed us, when they capitalize off us, they also poison us at the same time, man. Especially Esau. Like the brother was going into with the fried rice and stuff, all that is poison. Like when you go to these chicken joints, like St. Louis Fish and Chicken, New York Grill, you look at these Israelites, they ain't eating that shit at home, man. They eat a whole shawarma at home, right? The beauty supply stores, the products that the women are putting in your head, that's what's for them to go borrow this even more, man. That's right.
And then I think I brought this up one time. I was watching this vlog with this chick, Mellow Bucks from Chicago. She a hood rat ass chick. But in the midst of her doing some hood rat shit, she went into this Chinese weave shop or whatever. And she asked the lady at the counter, she was like, what is some good advice you would give somebody trying to start a business? And the Chinese one was like, whoa, I don't know. I don't know. And then when she got back to talking to bullshit, she was right with her. So they'll engage with you with your nigga stupidity. But when you ask them something sensible, I ask them like, hey, how do I start a business like y'all started? They ain't gonna say shit. They gonna act stupid.
Right, because the goal is for them to keep working as long as they keep you from having it or owning it. Ain't none of them talked about helping our people own anything. Ham never came, hey, my brother, let's try to help. Never have they done it. Never. You know what I'm saying?
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 64, starting at the 2nd verse, and it reads, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword, and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in the secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him, and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil manner. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? Okay? So all these other nations, okay? They come against the Israelites. That's what we're talking about, okay? But when the scriptures say they whet their tongue as a sword, they talk against us, okay? And they do all kinds of lay all kind of snares, like the brothers going in the food, they poison the food, they poison the air, they poison the water, okay? All your bread you eat is defiled, okay? And then they get bold with it. You know, they get on TV and they spread all that hatred across the world, okay? So like the brother was saying, when the other people come in, they look at us as being less than, okay? Okay, they encourage themselves in the evil manner. Why? Because they're all in league together, okay?
It's like they like Esau's a racist. He don't like nobody, but they got an agreement. Well, we all agree we don't like some his stuff. You know, so we got to agree with that. Like you had that one Moabite. Well, it don't even matter. Like he said, three people he don't like: the black, Latino, Native Americans. You know, he was telling a joke or something like that. So it's like, see, even in it, they all agree we don't like them. So we got to let that pass. You can't say nothing about us who agree we can't help them. You know, so they on some enemy. My enemy is my friend type
That's
shit.
what I was just thinking.
Yeah, even though they don't even like each other for real.
Because they think like Yahweh Shem Yahushua don't see them, okay? Because in the script say, who shall see it? Well, and they hide their counsel. Like Yahweh Shem Yahushua wasn't going to bring the children of Israel back up, okay? But Yahweh Shem Yahushua see all y'all, okay?
Book of Hosea, chapter 4, verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. Thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power, I will also forget thy children. And you see that scripture manifested right now. Jake gets shot in the street, Jake 4. Jake arguing. You know, hey, before the camera started, we almost witnessed a damn stabbing. You know? And that was the two Israelites. We had an elderly Israelite woman and about her, what, she's about like 30?
Raggedy one. She looked like she was 50 though.
Right, hey, because the feet about it, not in the house. That's what. You know, wearing them damn feet down.
And then also too, when it comes to you like you so-called Africans, which a lot of y'all that come over here, Jake too. The reason why they try and separate us so much, well, one, they know a lot of us are the same people, and then they don't want the possibility of Jake getting some international economic connections going on. You know what I'm saying? We getting stuff from over there, selling it over here, and things like that, right? But that's why they tell you. Just throw it in the trash. Throw it in the trash. But that's why they tell you so-called Africans. That's why they, you know, try and put out this propaganda that we over here so bad. That's why I sent the video in the chat of that she Nigerian, but she an Israelite, but she just talking so much shit on us so-called black men, the Israelite man over here in America, right? Who you think she got that from? She probably one of these first generations. She got it from her parents. Who do her parents get it from? Esau. Because y'all heads are so up Esau's ass, right? You look at us, y'all like, oh, y'all just, you know, niggas, y'all rebellious, you know, y'all don't want to, you know, y'all just don't want to, you know, cause havoc, you know, do all this extra bullshit, right? But no, we see this devil for who he is. Even wicked ass Jake even see this devil for who the fuck he is.
Niggas over here in America is a product of Esau, man.
Yep.
Esau, man. Our people would never like these people being here.
And they know that. But Esau tries to spin that narrative. No, they're just inherently bad. No, the only one that's inherently bad is you. Okay? As much as you want to try to demonize us, we ain't the ones dropping bombs on any damn body.
Right.
And you know we ain't the ones that drop the bomb. You know, Pearl Harbor, okay, Hiroshima. Here it is, they dropped a bomb on y'all, but you still will agree, yeah, the black people. They dropped a fucking bomb on you.
I think Pearl Harbor was the attack on the U.S.
Yeah. Pearl Harbor. The Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, and the U.S. responded with Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Fat Boy and Little Man.
Yeah, Fat Boy, those were the hydrogen bombs. Right, the water for the suppression. Yeah. But even all those bombs in the past, you know, that's only attributed to one person. And then some-called white man in the suit. Boy, we ain't dropped no bombs on him. But they still got that agreement, like, we still won't work with y'all. We still not gonna help you. Like the scripture says, they won't even say, bless you in the name of Yahweh. You're the chosen people. Bless you, may the Lord. Here it is, you're doing well. You know, but you still, nope, I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm not gonna help, I'm not gonna do nothing. We just gonna continue on as it is. Me and my Ishmaelite buddies, coming up, we making millions. We make so much money, you know. You taking these women over here to Dubai, okay, to be porta potties, you know, all of that money, all of that stuff, you gotta pay for that too.
Hey, even Swaggy, even have sex with animals.
Yeah.
I did a video of this. It like she could have been like a Cushite, but Spirit told me that she was a nigga woman. So she was all like, "I am the one that went to Dubai and stuck with that dog." I'm all like, she's like, you in your life have done worse things. I'm like, hell no, I ain't never did that.
Right.
You on your own.
And you gotta pay for that too, because you're taking a lot of our women over there to do that. I don't see none of y'all condemning your own people or condemning your own land for that. Now you gonna stay silent. But when they over here in America, just know they not over here to work a 9 to fucking 5. Okay, they here to set up businesses because the agreement is we make money off of these so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans.
And they come over here with lines of credit that allows them to rent out these, you know, buildings and, you know, in these plazas and things like that to get supplies and things. So they can start a restaurant, a Chinese restaurant, a fish and chicken restaurant, right? For example, like Chinamen in St. Louis is they specifically created the Chinese food here in St. Louis for niggas, right? The way that they make it, the St. Paul sandwich and everything like that is specifically made for you niggas, right? But do they try and help you start your own? Hell no. It's only one black-owned Chinese restaurant in Missouri, and that's Lefty's.
Sean, I need the next verse on this. I kind of lost it. Read that again.
Back to Deuteronomy 23 and from the top it says, because they met you not with bread and with water in the way, which ye came forth out of Egypt, and because they hired against thee Balaam, the son of Beor of Pethor of Mesopotamia, to curse thee. Nevertheless, the Lord Yahweh thy power will not hearken unto them, but the Lord thy power turn the curse into a blessing unto thee, because the Lord thy God loves thee.
So this written, remember them damn Moabites. Because instead of meeting you with bread and water, they tried to hire Baal order to put a curse on you. I turned those 3 curses into 3 blessings. You know? And then just imagine that. Imagine Israel hearing that. They're like, they tried to do what? But that's what happens behind the scenes. The Lord basically saying, I'm fighting for you even when you don't even know. And to this day, we still here because the mercy of Yahweh outside. We don't really see, we can only see so much. So here it is, we think we angry at the oppression. You ain't angry as Yahweh. Yahweh sees everything from the beginning to the end. That's right. Yahweh gonna show us in the, you know, the true intention. You probably gonna say in them cell phones, the true intent is to try to kill y'all. But I made sure that didn't happen. That food, they were trying to kill y'all. Them jabs they gave you in birth, they were trying to kill you. You know, when they brought that, they were giving out that jab, there was one woman that testified that when she was in line to get it, they went to another room to get hers, and then she walked out. She said, why am I getting something different? Because that's what happens behind the scenes. Give them this, and give everybody else these placebos and shit. Basically, normal saline or nothing, you know? But when they come in, make sure, oh, wait a minute, you gotta get this one for you, you know? We don't really see the stint that they tried to do to try to get the ones with the blue crab blood, all the other shit that was up in the mercury. Yeah. You know, which is highly toxic to your body. You know, you have certain metals that your body needs, but mercury ain't one of them.
You can't even touch mercury.
Right. And another thing is there's statistically proven that when our women give birth in the hospitals, the baby has a higher percentage of like dying versus the counterpart. So that's racism in itself. You bring forth the baby and they like, you know the child needs this and that, but they ain't sure. Child died. So so even going to give birth in the hospitals, there's even knowledge saying that C-section is really off.
Yeah.
You know, because you bypassing the true canal is supposed to come out of, get a lot of basically they say people's babies born C-section versus not got differences. You know? So that's curses too. So like more than likely if a Jake woman was in the hospital, they say more likely they'll recommend C-section for a Jake than a black woman.
Yeah.
But the Edomite, they give her everything they need to do it regular. All that shit, yeah, natural. All that shit, they work behind the scenes to try to keep us down or to kill us or whatever.
And that's the reason why Esau is so goddamn salty. They giving natural birth.
Yeah.
You know, because they know that this medicine is designed to basically target Jake. And now, so you got, look what they did to Dr. Satan.
Yeah.
They killed him. You know, because he was basically spoiling their agenda. You know, and going the natural way. Because Esau is such a damn devil. He wants you to rely on him. And, his attitude is, well, you get whatever the fuck I give you, nigga. You know? Nah, bro. You ain't gonna get that because you got the scriptures now and the knowledge.
A lot of you other nations, man, you can say a whole lot. There's a lot of you that see shit behind the scenes, and you can talk about the conversations you have about us and what these other nations really think about us. You're gonna keep silent.
Right.
You just look at us and y'all like, man, y'all just don't even know the extent that these people go to try to punish y'all to keep y'all down. A lot of y'all, you keep silent. We know because every now and then, when y'all start talking, you catch Jake, one of us, and you start saying some truth. Yeah, we know y'all really this, y'all really. We really, it's like, okay, well then, why aren't you telling other people? You act like you're gonna lose your estate, but because they got an agreement now, we can't tell you. Like I said, man, the Ishmaelites, they don't come over here to work a 9 to 5. Moab don't come over here to work a 9 to 5. They go in there to get their damn, they got to pass college, all that. And Esau, they all got an agreement behind the scenes. They work together to keep you out. That's it. You know. So if it comes to hiring physicians, and they got 5 Moabites and they got 5 Jakes, guess who most likely gonna get them all first? 5 Moabites. It's in the agreement. You got to get a priority to less to you because you can't give you these opportunities. Okay, opportunities mean you might start to do well, just like they had the redlining. It's all what? They're not bank loans. We don't want you to come in these areas. You know, so you're more than likely to stay in the dangerous area, which means you're more than likely not to succeed. But if you was to get into a better area, you got better water. You're supposed to have so-called better education. You can make change. They don't want that. We got to keep this amongst us. That's how they think.
Hebrews 12 and 16. Lest there be any fornicator or a profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright.
Right? He sold his birthright for one morsel of meat. So he's been mad at us ever since. That's what all this is about. It's fueled by rage. A lot of our people don't understand the origins of quote-unquote racism. They think it's just a misunderstanding. No, it's no misunderstanding. They perfectly know that you are special and that they are the inferior. So they deal with rage. They know there's no other way to explain it. Some of them, every now and then, will go on the internet and actually say, the reason we treat y'all like this is we're afraid that you're going to do what you do to us. We're afraid that you're going to have opportunities just like us, and the next thing you know, you're going to be calling the shots, and we're going to be under you.
That's how it's always been. Because we are the dominant priests. Alright.
They know that we don't want our daughters to give us jobs because we know that they're gonna be naturally attracted to you anyway. So we try to demonize you and keep them away from you and all that. They know these things because it was happening in slavery. You know, the daughters lusting after Jake.
They made laws in the 16th century. You know, the white women from getting with Jake, but that didn't stop. They even went into captivity with Jake just to be with Jake. Their children would be slaves up until 20 years old.
Look at this.
Edomite women that was taking advantage of Jacob, and they gonna have to pay for that shit too. Because look, they'll literally have Jacob butt ass naked, man, and the women will see that and turn Jake on, she'll take advantage of him, then she know she's pregnant, and then she gonna tell her husband, oh, he raped me. You know? Now Jake getting killed for no fucking reason.
Yeah, they did that all the time. Yeah. Joseph is an example.
Shit, even there, you know, the scriptures said that they had given a boy for a harlot. You had a lot of those Edomite women, and even male, you know, that was in the closet with faggots, that was buying Jake and doing whatever. You know? Yeah. You had a look.
Finish off with Hebrews 12 and 17. For ye know that how afterwards, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected. For he found no place of repentance, though he sought it out carefully with tears.
Right. So your judgment is what it is. And you can only really get mad at yourself. But as we're going to read in the book of Obadiah, you was mad the whole time because you knew you effed up. So your whole thing is, well, I'm just going to put y'all in slavery and I'm going to do whatever I want to y'all because I'm mad. You know? And the Lord's basically saying, because of that, now you got to pay. And you all you other nations, because you had a helping hand, and because you didn't take the time to at least comfort my people or help my people, you got to pay too. Because you all, like I said, you all sitting on wealth and knowledge. You could let our people know the secrets in and out. You could tell us how to make money and all that, or what happens behind the scenes that secretly denying people based off that. You could spill the beans, so to speak. But you like, no, we got an agreement. Our wealth is gonna work as long as. So I still remember, get that reminder, because when I was going to get a car, and I'm over here fighting the damn devil just to get a few hundred knocked off. See a Moabite just come in, you know, the car's inside, the dealer's always the door up. And Moabite open the door, close it. Y'all want that one? All right, sure, let's go on, you know. I'm like, motherfucker. And I'm like, what does he do? I guarantee you anything he does got something to do with keeping our people oppressed. That's right. Because I can't even remember the last time I had to work with Moabites. They don't send their children to 9 to 5, man. They got the same systems. Yeah, exactly. Just like Ishmael, you hardly see an Ishmael like working the 9 to 5. He is in you in the sweatshop, you're more likely a Jake.
Unless that nigga drive the trucks.
Yeah. They work behind the scenes, they clicked up, they got land, they got
family businesses.
What's the thing with the meat? Subway. No, with the slaughterhouse. Yeah, slaughterhouse.
Halal meat.
Slaughterhouse. And they got, you know about the land. They got in the back.
The halal meat.
What's it called? The gyro? No, the people who do the job. The butcher. They got butcher shops.
Yeah, well, they got one on Corey
They got the 7-Elevens. They got the hotels. Okay.
Oh, yep, that's a big business hotel. What are our own? They ain't teaching you in that hotel. Like to have a slaughterhouse and to have a butcher shop mean you got land. Because in order to get land, you gotta have, to have animals, you gotta have land. They got businesses amongst each other to send it to me, y'all sell it to them, you know. Right. Where's our land? Where's our butcher shop? Mm-hmm. And if we did have that, the system would work effortlessly around the clock to ruin it.
And hang around St. Louis U during the school year or watch you, right? Just sit out there and watch. You're gonna see all these RS7s, you're gonna see these BMW 7 Series, brand new, matter of fact. Who hopping out? Moab. Little motherfucker 18 years old, you got a car worth more than motherfucking my apartment that I got. You bitch.
And, you know, it's something new, I didn't even realize it, but in Islam, it's against their rules to have a mortgage. I didn't even know that. One woman I was listening to, she let it slip. I was like, looking that up. So they don't even have mortgage. So they got a whole system to get around that. Somehow, they either paying for it or whatever.
Yeah, but Jay, see, I ain't let you just say, yeah, I'm a Muslim. Don't think you still gotta pay.
Right.
And you know, back in the days when they did give us so-called land and stuff, they gave us the worst land, decrepit lands, where we couldn't grow nothing and all that other stuff. So they gave it to us, we used it.
And there'll be times when you just know they ain't gonna sell you this property because it's too too much in a good position.
That's what they did to Gad. Kicked the trail of tears. Okay? The Natchez Trace trail. Took them out of all that. Look, Gad, Reuben, okay, and Manasseh. Took them out of the southeast, made them go up north. You know what I'm saying? Just took all their land, man.
Even all this was
God.
Gad, man.
All this was Gad.
All this, man.
When's the last time you seen Native American families walk down the street?
Oh,
You gotta go. Yeah, you gotta go on the east side. You know, or Cahokia. And you gotta see them, and they, you know, but they supposed to be all around us.
Shit, you damn near got to go to another state.
Yeah.
You gotta go up north.
You gotta go to the damn reservation.
God, up
They
north.
don't think you gotta go there.
A lot of,
Yeah, basically.
see a lot of gas. You know, shit, most of us look like you now. Got our normal people.
This is Book of Psalms, chapter 124. And I put at verse 2. If it had not been the Lord who was on our side when men rose up against us, then they had swallowed us up quickly. When their wrath was kindled against us, then the waters had overwhelmed us. The stream had gone over our souls. Then the proud waters had gone over our souls. Blessed be the Lord who has not given us as a prey to their teeth. Our soul is escaped as a bird out of the snare of the fowler. The snare is broken, and we are escaped. Our help is in the name of the Lord, who made heaven and earth.
Wow, that's perfect.
Hey, and that goes to show how important the name of the Lord is.
Strong tower.
Right, that's how we got here, by the way. The name of the Lord, Yahweh Yahushua. The Lord put the spirit on Abba Bivens to wake up to the truth. And our elders, as far as Ariyat now, and they would learn the Hebrew, and that name is spread. That's how we got here, by the way.
Right.
Where you Edomites wonder, how did they get here? Because the name was Yahweh Yahushua. And that's why they're mad, because they're like, we had everything sealed. There's no way they were supposed to get out. But we got it. And we didn't have to go to no college. We didn't have to go to no seminary school. Because you like, well, we fund the teachers. We own the curriculum. So the truth will never get out. We own all of that. So how did they get it? Through the spirit of power, how about you? That's how we got it.
Like that 2 Timothy 6 says, there's only so much that cap on the bottom to take there to bust the surface, right? So we thank you for how about you and shine how long this is, man. We thank you.
Yeah. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 10, and verse 24. And it says, the fear of the wicked, it shall come upon him, but the desire of the righteous shall be granted, right? Because I remember you said that, a lot of these Edomites are afraid that if Jake get into power, they're going to do, we would do to them what they did to us. Well, that fear is going to come to pass, right? In the kingdom. In the kingdom, we're going to do everything that you did to us double.
Right, that's the Lord. Because like I'm a tradesman, and you learn in the unions, right, that they try to keep that, it's cliquish, and it's all like that way on purpose to ensure that the Edomites progress and less opportunities for change. It's the same even then, so they all working together. Why is that? Because they're trying to make sure they stay in power, and that they really don't be willing to teach your ass nothing for real. Like if they actually know that they're about to teach you a skill that you can take that and go any way, which way with it, they really don't want to show you no ropes, because you got to deal with that on the job. You got to deal with the fact that one Jake may tell you something, and it's like, well, why didn't he tell me? He ain't trying to really show you everything. He ain't going to show you enough. He ain't going to go that further. He ain't going to go no further because they don't want you to sell. So you got to deal with that even on the plantation. Even on the job, you're trying to advance, but here it is, they are greedy, trying to really work to get your ass out of here, setting you up, things like that, all that to keep a man down. That's the type of shit that we got to deal with our whole life.
I was on a job one time. I used to work at a lumber yard, working on a molding machine. It was me and there was this other don't like saying white boys, rednecks. There was this other redneck up under me, and I was there a long time before him, and I kept asking them to get me in this position on this machine. They passed me up, give it to him, and found out that he couldn't do the job. He couldn't keep the attitude, none of that stuff, and he kept messing up. So after he fucked up so much and so much, now they want to put me in position, and looked at me like, God, wow, I ain't never found nobody to learn on, catch on like you. Then want to send me to school, and I got my degree in running a machine. Told me after I come back that they was gonna give me this double pay and all of this other stuff. When I came back, they're gonna tell me I had to show another initiative to do this to get the up pay, but then they're gonna bring another redneck in and give him the same pay they were supposed to be raising me up on.
See, that's what they do. And they knew that you would excel. They just don't want to give it to you. We want to give it to the dang Edomite, but they know that we would be the better choice. But because they just want to keep those opportunities from us, that's the type of things we did, and we can all testify to it, especially being the so-called black man in this damn world. Okay, we can just now understand why. Because in the scriptures, like I said, the world calls it racism. We understand why now. Because we the children of Israel, and we're blessed, and the whole world really is against us. And that's what we're trying to tell our people. You can find all the answers in the scriptures. The answer to racism, the reason why we're on the bottom, the reason why our people hate each other, the reason why our marriages don't work. All of that can be found in the scripture. You actually have an answer for it. And we're here to protect it. Jeremiah 25:12. You want that now?
Because like the brother was saying, like racism has been here since the beginning, man. This is Genesis 3, verse 15. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. And that's going all the way back to the garden, man. You know? And this is a foreshadowing of Esau and Jacob, man. You know? And when it says, he shall bruise thy heel, that's talking about how Esau has hindrance, man. You know how we are falling to a lower state like the terrier of Achilles' heel. You know, eventually it heals. You know, that's what we are in right now, the healing process. But when it says thou shalt bruise his head, that means that when the Edomites go into captivity, you ain't rising back up no more, man. Okay? Because if you take a blow to the head, you might end up being in a vegetable state now, man. You know?
Exactly what happened.
Oh yeah, to your brother's point, this is Deuteronomy 28:43, and it reads, the stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. I'll bring it down.
Yeah, basically we the tail, and they're the head. So all we do is borrow, and really all they do is use all of our music, all of our talents to their benefit. All these boxers, they're all owned. All of these basketball players, they're all owned. How many actually own the team? You know?
Nobody.
Yeah.
But you only on a percentage.
Yeah. Because best believe a lot of the players, they trying to get up there. They understand the sport more than anybody else, and they'll be trying to get there, and then they get that reminder like, hey, look here, you brought here to play. This executive position is for us. We ain't trying to give it to y'all because the next thing you know, you're going to take over the whole NBA.
Trying to stop Cube in every way he can when he trying to set it up.
Yeah.
Look at Michael Jackson. Look at Bill Cosby. They had more money. Okay? One tried to buy NBC, Coca-Cola. One tried to buy Sony Music. What happened to them? They got took down.
Exactly. So to them, you just here to make us money. Don't get any bright ideas and trying to get your own thing set up.
Right.
Because what happened to Prince before? He said, we can set up our own system. We can do this ourselves. Next thing you know, he's dead. You know?
Yeah, I remember that.
This is why we say, when the scripture says, we wrestle not against flesh and blood. Okay? We're fighting a whole system designed to keep us down. And you trying to make sense of it. Like they know the deal. It might be Jake Clark's thing, but they know the deal. Okay? You ain't gonna catch them working at Walmart or at Target. They're like, no, we don't do that. We don't do that.
Dog niggas.
Yeah. They probably don't even let their kids work.
Right.
Here it is, a Moabite term, 18. All right, now I want to work. You're not working. I'll pay you for it. You go to school, you go do this, that, and that. Right? They probably get their whole college tuition paid, all that, just stay away from the blacks. That's what they say, stay away from the blacks.
And an expensive foreign car.
Yeah. We'll give you all that, and we'll make sure you excel in all that, because their job is running these beauty supply stores, all these things, and we're gonna pass it down. But you got to keep the family secrets. You know, the bad people, we just like their money. You know what I'm saying? So we just use them to get rich, but you can't tell them this is all about the business or whatever. You know?
I went up in this Chinaman one time, and I wasn't really trying to holler at. A lot of times when I go places, I don't flirt, but a lot of times it be women that'll be checking me out, and I don't really notice it. But I checked out this one little Chinese girl was checking me out one time, and I ain't noticed it until I was walking out the door. So I was gonna go back the next day and get on her, because I'm talking about she was on me. The next day she was gone. They got rid of her. You check it out? Oh no, you can't
The
come
dad
back.
was like, okay.
They seen her watching me.
Yeah.
Say, oh, okay, we got to go.
Add to that, you know, in order to keep the families, even nations try to keep your women away from Jake, they always look towards Jake. Like you got some Japanese women, you know, saying that we want black men, you know, to give us dates, man. You know?
If we're such bad people, why is everybody after the so-called black man? Why is the so-called black man, Latino, Native American man, the best at everything? You know, these other nations know that the narrative they hear isn't actually true. It's just coming from a place of hate. And they don't even, they like, we still ain't gonna say that. These other nations, they can spill the beans. They know it. Putin, if he really wanted to spill the beans, he could. If anybody in the UN really wanted to spill the beans, they could. They could say, you know, for real, let's address the elephant in the room. Those so-called Negroes, Latino, Native Americans over there, really they the ones that need help. But we're gonna sit here and we're gonna ignore them because, let's be for real, we're all making money off of it. But they're really God's chosen people. They're the real Israelites. Because you could bring that up when we're talking about these so-called Israelis. They were, you know, we wanted to be real. We know that the real Israelites are those people. So if it's really a discuss about land, who it really belongs to, we know it really belongs to the Israelites. They know that. But guess what? Whoever do that, more than likely, you may not be at work the next day. Right. Because you just said what everybody has agreed to not speak, which is true. Yeah. Okay? That's what we're fighting against. You know? And they know it's the truth. And that's why you other nations, you have to pay for it because you just capitalized. At the very least, you should have just had no dealings. And said, oh, the Lord judging the Israelites, we don't got nothing to do with it. Leave us out of it. Because then the Lord of seas, the Lord of Jack Carr has something.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7 and verse 7. Surely oppression maketh the wise man mad, and a gift destroys the heart. Oppression maketh the wise man mad. It's like any animal that's locked up, wicked animal, go crazy. Or the animal will just give up the ghost. You know? That's what these nations start off with your how much they are shot because you go to the wrath. That's what you nations did to us. Okay? You still got us in captivity. And since the Lord invited the sentence, we're trying to find new ways to oppress us and to make us go off. You know? You got something called it's literally so bad you got terminology for this shit. YN. You know, what's that? Young niggas. So nigga that got dreads, a bunch of tattoos, ski mask, and hoodie at 90 degrees.
At 90, man, I see that today. I'm like, what the
A
heck?
purse, stolen credit card, and a damn gun. Yeah. And a Hellcat again.
Revelation 12, verse 16. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of Yahweh and have the testimony of Yahweh Shai.
That dragon represents the Roman Empire, which also represents the so-called white man. You could say, you want to extend it broader, the European Edomite nations. See? Because just like the piece that you read, he said what the earth opened up to swallow the water. You know, basically, like the scripture said, if the Lord didn't help us, these other nations would have consumed us. You know, because that's how much attacking and agreeing they do to try to keep us down. Like I said, they all have an agreement to at least keep us oppressed. And everybody in the room is happy just as long as we don't bring up the Negroes like those Native Americans. Like I said, we don't have a seat at the UN. The president of Mexico, which is a woman, she's a so-called Jew. Okay? The people in Africa, all them higher up, they're all corrupt. They're paid for. You know? And anytime any of them want to do the truth, to do the right thing, they're going to hire our own people to go and bring it down. Like the brother said, we can always find a weak spot within our people. And they know that eventually you offer our people enough money, they'll destroy their own. They'll do it. It's the same in this truth. You got a lot of sellouts in Israel. You know? And it's a damn shame, but that's because integrity is on the low. They know we offer them enough money and niggas gonna do it. So you going, okay, what you want me to say? What I need to learn this, what I need to learn that. And they'll tell you lies. They'll tell you the name of the Lord don't matter. They'll tell you don't look for the microchip. Even to this day, they don't even mention it. It's redacted. Don't say anything. Okay? We helping you do your thing, but you can't mention that chip. And they'll do that knowingly, like, because they're selfish. They're greedy of gain. And they know that they can get our people to do that anytime. So if you was to say, you announce what you shouldn't do, okay, I'm about to open a new herbal store for herbs, and we're going to go the right path. This is just the other option, right? So I'm looking for physicians and all that. They're going to hire your own people to come and destroy them. If they themselves, if you can manage to get around, you got your own money somehow. If you can do all this yourself, now you're going to see exactly how this society going to react when you try to, I'm going to set up a hospital, but we going to specialize in natural remedies and herbs, and we're going to open up the door for studies and sciences, and we're going to give classrooms and stuff. Oh man, you about to bring hell upon your own self. Why? Because you're trying to do the right thing, and you're trying to do it for your own people.
Ultimately, you basically signing the damn death wish.
That's it.
Because you saw it as a bloody man. Look what they did to that damn Iranian nuclear physicist. They murdered him. It was basically like this court that had guns mounted into it, but it was radio controlled. So once it shot up his car, the whole car is self-destruct. Nobody knows what the hell happened.
That's why if you got an invention and you come up with something, hey man,
Keep it to yourself.
either keep it to yourself, or if you're gonna spill the beans, you better tell it to everybody before you. Don't be like, all right, I'm come up with something new, guys. I found a way to make the car run off water with they've already done that. So stay tuned. No, stay tuned. You either gonna drop the whole blueprint and engineering in that video, and give it to everybody for free, or they gonna kill your ass before you get time to say anything. The people kill me with that. New discovery. I figured out how to do something spectacular. I'm like, dude, don't do that. Because you ain't gonna make it. Unless you gonna tell everybody right then and there, here's how you do it. Stay tuned. I got more. Oh no. They gonna come and get you quick. You gotta say it right there.
That's why it's always good. You got, like Brother said, you got a business plan, keep it to yourself. Or sharing it with brethren. This nigga Esau will pull 180 and take you out, man.
Yeah, or get it packed in first. Make you already got it set up where you got your family and all that. Make sure you got all that set up first. Okay, before you just speak about what you're gonna do. Before you do it, because you're telling your plans in this wicked ass society, you can't do that. Okay? This is the type of society we live in. I figured out something, right? Unless I'm gonna tell everybody how to do it right then and there, not stay tuned. I got it tomorrow, next. No, I'm gonna tell you right then and there. I'm I'm gonna have it all laid out so the video's out there. So even if they take me out, the knowledge is still there. You know what I'm saying?
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 25 and verse 12. And it says, it shall come to pass when 70 years are accomplished that I will punish the king of Babylon and that nation, saith the Lord Yahweh, for their iniquity, and the land of the Chaldeans, and will make it perpetual desolation. And I will bring upon that land all my words which I have pronounced against it, even all that is written in this book, which Jeremiah had prophesied against all the nations. For many nations and great kings shall serve themselves of them also, and I will recompense them according to their deeds, and according to the works of their own hands. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh God of Israel unto me, take the wine cup of this fury at my hand, and cause all the nations to whom I send thee to drink it. And they shall drink it and be moved and be mad because of the sword that I will send among them. Then I took the cup of the Lord Yahweh's hand and made all the nations to drink, unto whom the Lord Yahweh has sent me, to wit Jerusalem and the cities of Judah and the kings thereof and the princes thereof, to make them a desolation and an astonishment, a hissing and a curse, as it is this day. Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, and his servants and his princes, and all his people, and all the mingled people, and all the kings of the land of Uz, and all the kings of the land of the Philistines, and Ashkelon, and Azah, and Ekron, and the remnant of Ashdod, Edom, Moab, and the children of Ammon, and all the kings of Tyrus, and all the kings of Zidon, and all the kings of the isles which are beyond the sea, Dedan, and Teman, and Buz, and all that are in the uttermost corners, and all the kings of Arabia, and all the kings of the mingled people that dwell in the desert, and all the kings of Zimri, and all the kings of Elam, and all the kings of the Mede, and all the kings of the north, far and near, one with other, and all the kingdoms of the world which are upon the face of the earth, and the king of Shishak shall drink after them. Therefore thou shalt say unto them, thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, and be drunken, and spew and fall, and rise no more, because of the sword which I send among you. And it shall be that if they refuse to take the cup at the hand to drink, then shall thou say unto them, thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, ye shall certainly drink.
Right? And he mentioned all them other nations. He said, because what did the Lord say first? Jerusalem and all the princes thereof. Because the Lord said what? Get your own house in order, right? And he's going to deal with his people first, right? So he's going to deal with us, which he did, and then he's going to come and deal with you. And then he said what? And he said what? They going to be mad, right? And he said what? They're going to say, we shall not drink. The Lord said, you shall surely drink. Keep going.
For lo, I begun to bring evil on the city which is called by my name, and should be utterly unpunished. Ye shall not be unpunished. It says, for lo, I begin to bring evil on the city which is called by my name.
Should he Israelite?
And should ye be utterly punished? Unpunished, Salakia.
Right, so the Lord saying, I'm doing this to my people, and you think you're going to be unpunished? Right? And you might say, well, what do we do? Well, we explaining what you're doing. And the Lord, the Lord sees everything that you're doing. We know what you're doing. We're calling out, this is just what we know. Like I said, if you all wanted to, if you all wanted to, you could spill the beans. Cause like I don't know what some people would just walk by. I guarantee you they ain't working no 9 to 5. They got a whole system set up to set themselves up to move forward. But if you was to ask them, so what exactly do you do? Guarantee you it got something to do with the capitalization of our people and their downfall. Somewhere along the line. Guarantee. If a doctor actually wanted to talk about the racism that goes on behind the scenes, how they bill our people more, how they deny them coverages, how they lie on purpose, because you have something called misdiagnosis, intentional. To make money, they'll misdiagnose you. That looks like cancer. Knowing your fear, you're gonna take those meds. You're gonna go through that dangerous therapy so that their pockets can get done. That's why they always say, what? Get a second or a third opinion. Because when you go to that second or third opinion, they're like, that ain't no damn cancer. And it's gonna make you want to go back and slap that motherfucker, but you can't do that, right? But you actually have to do that because they will misdiagnose for money. And in particular, they'll target who? Y'all, our people, because no one cares about you. So you can undergo dangerous, risky procedures and all that, all because misdiagnosed. That's why our people are afraid of what the doctor. Our people are hesitant to go for natural birth because statistics show that our children are more than likely not to make it versus the Edomite counterpart. That's racism. Because they really don't want to give birth to your children. They got to sit there and motivate you, push off and graduate. They don't really want to do that. Right, while they know the decline, they like, whatever, I don't care, just throw it in. You know what I'm saying? That's what you got to deal with.
And even the method of, the way that they have women give birth is an unnatural way. You ain't supposed to go against gravity and lay on the bed and push. You're supposed to, she's supposed to squat and let that thing drop.
They also refuse to offer them like painkillers and stuff. You don't get the same treatment. When an Edomite woman was to go in there for birth versus our women that go in there, you don't get the same treatment. That's why it's best if you got any family members who nurses or whatever, when they realize somebody in the room knows what they're talking about, their whole attitude changes. Start speaking some medical talk, then it's, somebody knows something. Yeah, now, motherfucker, get the shit going. Okay? Because my family got to deal with that all the time. Like my grandma in the hospital, well, my mother's nurse, when she go in there, where's this, that, and that? Are you nurse? Right. See, that's bullshit. See, now if I was there, I'd throw a fit. I'm like, wait a minute, you guys intentionally, because I got a medical background too. So I would do that too. I'll go in there, just let it be know I know something. Are you a doctor? Don't worry about it. Okay? You're going to give whoever this is the same treatment as this. Otherwise, it's your ass. That's the shit we got to deal with. So even when your loved ones are in the bed, you don't even really know they're getting the treatment they're supposed to get. Right. A lot of times they withhold options and operations and all that just so they can try to send you home because it'll save your life or it'll make you better. That's what we do. So when you other nations want to ask, what do we do? We bring in all the receipts. And this is, like I said, just what we know. The Lord really knows what you do behind the scenes, right? We can only see so much. So it blew me away when that Somalian woman said, by the way, they teach us that when we get over here, stay away from y'all because y'all dangerous. Now that whole deporting thing was new. That's some wicked shit. We'll deport your ass if you have ability. What the hell is that? So part of the terms of them coming over is you better agree to not support or help Negro, Latino, and American. So it's an agreement. We're here to capitalize on it. This is what we're fighting against. And when I came to the truth and I realized that made me so mad, man. That made me so mad to know that you got a whole system working against you like that, behind the scenes. And even it's like we're talking about, even within the tribes, right? There's strife within the tribes. Southern Kingdom gets it, you can say, but even Northern Kingdom, so like Escar, for example, they tell their daughters, I bet not catch you with a so-called black woman, a black man. You wanna know why? Because they tell it. And that one woman, she told us, she said, yeah, my parents told me I better stay away from the black man. Here it is, you can go get a white man, a damn devil, stay away from the black man. Because they think that they're white. A lot of Northern Kingdom got that self-hatred down thing bad, especially Simeon. Okay? Simeon, they honestly do think that we not black, we Dominican. They honestly think there's a difference. And they really do think that they're Esau. They think that they're so-called white people. They got a problem with Levi. They show the same way. And there's videos that show you that like I said, they got a problem with Levi. So you go down there and they figured out that you a tourist, you get treated different. You know, your own people. You know, because they got a self-hatred down thing bad. So when they see themselves, they hate themselves. So they try to say, no, we are our own thing. We ain't got nothing to do with the Haitians. We ain't got nothing to do with none of y'all. We Dominicans. We're our own thing. Like you were under the same oppression, and you got put on that land the same way. In fact, the first slave ship, I believe, landed in the Dominican. Okay? So you think, but you think you different. Right. That's what we got to deal with. We got to deal with cypher because our own people, because our people have been conquered by them, and they forced to hate themselves. So we got to deal with that amongst our own people too.
And the crazy part about it is you Simeonites, you so-called Dominicans, look more like niggas than any of the other Northern Kingdom tribes out there. You can't tell the difference between a Dominican and a nigga. Right. Till one just speaks Spanish, one speaks English.
Right. And you know what's crazy about that too is they'll tell their women to stay away from us, but they men will run through our women. You know, it's a thing too that I heard from one of them that they won't hire none of the so-called blacks in their gas station and their restaurants, but they hire all the women.
Of course, they know the women. They agree that women is used, the black women is used to forward our affliction.
This is Zechariah chapter 1, verse 15.
This is why we warn. We be talking about our enemies, even amongst our tribes. We also have to understand that we acknowledge that even our women are enemies. We acknowledge it because this man, part of his tactic is to use y'all. And a lot of you don't want to admit it, but you haven't used it. See it.
This is Zechariah chapter 1 and verse 15. I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease. For I was but a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction.
Yeah. See, they help forward the affliction. This is what they take their energy to do, to bring our people down. So that's why you're going to get judged. And realistically, the best thing you could have done was stay out of the way. Have no dealings with our people and their oppression. You know? Or at the very least, try to help. They won't even say, blessed be in the name of Yahweh Yahushua. They laugh. So that's why you got to pay. All y'all got to pay. Because now the change is coming, it's switching. So yes, every nation has had a hand in our oppression. Especially even the slave trade. Like I learned that it was the Ishmaelites that helped build the ships. Somebody had to build them. You know? So y'all all capitalized off of us. You got that, like I said, hidden in secret. That's why you all live in certain areas, okay? Keep your secrets together. And that secret is dark. And it has something to do with the oppression of our people. Like I said, like the brother said, they'll hire a black woman before they hire the man. Because eventually the man might get to the point where he might take over. They notice all this. That's why Laban had to pull a yaquat on Jacob. Because he could see, well, first of all, I'm getting rich because of Jacob. So I want to keep you around, but he pulled a fast on him a few times, beginning with the daughter, you know. But that's why the Lord eventually turned the tables. But they're going to show you as much as you try to, like the Sister read, you try to keep us down, we keep coming back up. And you know that. That's why we don't want them to have these positions because eventually they're going to take over. So the agreement is we have to, you know, make this work within ourselves. You know. We got to keep it from them because we know what's going to happen. Now imagine if they actually told our people that, like in high school, for the record, so-called black man, you're going to have it hard because we know that you tend to outshine and to go even further. So when you go out to the real world, just know a lot of times you're going to be denied opportunities is because there's an agreement to keep you less or keep you lower. Because if you get in these executive positions, eventually, you're going to be calling the shots, and eventually you're going to have your own thing. And we work really hard to keep you where you at. Our whole world would change if somebody actually took the time to tell us that, and actually tell you what's really going on behind the scenes. It's supposed to be really your parents first. But guess what? They say, well, let's attack that. Let's divide the families. What's the easiest way to divide the family? Simple. We'll just do what we did in the garden. Get to that damn woman. You know, your man ain't shit. You know? We give you the job. We give you the job. And only in return, you help us keep that man down. And that black woman says, sign me up. Okay? That's the majority of them. And yes, that includes your mothers. Half of y'all mothers ain't gonna tell you the truth. Half of y'all mothers ain't gonna tell you their faults. They say, son, I messed up to here and there and there. Don't make it. They'll never bring themselves. Half of them, I say half, over half won't say that to y'all. Over half won't really tell y'all, like, really, you're the guy, son. You're the guy. And they've been trying to use us to keep you down, but I'm gonna use everything in my power to ensure that you get everything. So I'm gonna let you. You're gonna go to your father's house. If they do that, it's a problem. Okay. Just like that one black woman actually said. She did a video. She said how when she saw she had to go to court because her father of her daughter got caught up because of child support. And she said when she saw him in cuffs, she said that made her so mad that she couldn't wait to speak to say. She said, Your Honor, I want all the child support cut, back, forward, new, all. I want it all out right now. And she said that whole courtroom went up in flames. And they put her to the side. The cops had to ask her, "Are you being somebody forced you to do this? Are you under pressure, duress, or whatever?" And she's like, "No, I want that stopped right now." So they put her through a whole process before they made her sign the paper. You wanna know why? Because what she did was a holy thing, a right thing, and that system is designed to keep that in place. And she come in there to do the opposite. That's a problem. That's why they're like, wait a minute, damn it, we gave you the power to afford the affliction. You're using it to release, you know? And that's why she got that backlash the way she did. She said other men was coming up to her, you know? Because they know, like, no, we're going to get a power with the woman. This is how we can get a whole business. So when she came in there, she said something holy like that. Your Honor, I want all this. I want him out of the cuffs right now. They like, wait a minute. See, that's how you know you fighting against the man. You know? So as a man, that's why Paul said it best. Really, the best way is just to be by yourself. Because you can fall into these snares unknowingly or unwillingly. This devil knows what he's doing, man. He gave that power to the woman on purpose. Because he know they're the weaker vessel. He know their vindictive nature to keep you oppressed. A real heavy creature.
Look, one of my moms called me one time. I used to have up on a nice little pedestal, thinking that, well, damn, maybe it was my dad all messed up and jacked up, because he was on drugs. He did drugs majority of his life. But she called me one day crying, bawling to my son. I just got to let you know, it was on her spirit, Lord put on spirit. I did your dad wrong. I didn't even give him a chance to do right. Crying. I'm like, wow. And this was just when the Lord Yahweh Shai brought me up to the truth. And he put that on her spirit and said, man, I just want to let you know, son, I ain't even give your dad a chance the first shot. And I think he had not too long ago passed off, too.
Wow. So, that could be mercy extended right there. And that's mind-blowing that she actually did that, because the average mother today won't do that.
Won't do it, yeah.
Because they got to be the hero. So everything else, just know that I did everything I could, Daddy didn't, and that's all you need to know. That's all you need to know.
To your point, my mother, when my dad had passed away, I called her, and she was the most accountability that I ever heard her take was, well, son, I couldn't be the father and the mother. I understand you probably hurt, but he got to answer to the Most High for not being there for you. I'm like, hold on, you was getting child support already from this dude the whole time. Then, come to find out he moved to Texas, he get married to my younger brother mother, who's I think she's Samoan. Never known him messing with a so-called black woman after that.
He got the understanding. He got that understanding. Yeah, see, we're acknowledging all our enemies. We're acknowledging the whole system in place to keep us down. You got to pay for that. This whole system is corrupt and it's wicked.
It's Ezekiel 25, starting the first verse. It reads, the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against the Ammonites and prophesy against them. Say unto the Ammonites, hear the word of the Lord Yahweh. Thus saith the Lord God, because thou sayest, against my sanctuary, that it was profaned, and against the land of Israel, that it was desolate, and against the house of Judah, when they went into captivity. Behold, therefore I will deliver thee to the men of the east for possession. They shall eat thy fruit, and they shall drink thy milk, and I will make rubber of stables and camels and Ammonites and couching place for flock, and ye shall know that I am the Lord, Yahweh. For thus saith the Lord power, because thou hast clapped thine hands and stamped thy feet and rejoiced in my heart with all thy despite against the land of Israel. Behold, therefore I will stretch out my hand upon thee, for I will deliver thee for a spoil to the heathen, and I will cut thee off from the people, and I will cause thee to perish out of the country. I will destroy thee, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord. Verse 8, Moab. Thus saith the Lord power, because that Moab and Seir do say, behold, the house of Judah is like unto all the heathen. Therefore, behold, I will open the side of Moab from his cities which are on his frontiers, the glory of the country, Beth Jahasmoth, Baalmelech, and Kirkathan, unto the men of the east with the Ammonites, and will give them in possession, that the Ammonites may not be remembered among the nations. And I will execute judgment upon Moab, and they shall know that I am the Lord.
Right, so the Lord there, it's in that chapter, Ammon, Moab, Esau, because they said, aha, but they clapped their hands. So when you do stuff like that, you gotta pay. Why? Because he said what? When our temple is profaned. Because the Lord used the Babylonians, right? And guess who helped Esau? You know? All the nations helped. They all helped. So the Lord got, I gotta deal with you. Oh, you gonna clap your hands, you gonna laugh? Right? So what does the scripture says? You other nations are better off what? Not even getting involved, or at least at the very least try to help, or stay out of it. That's what you should have did. But all you nations on the planet are guilty. You're guilty. Because none of you have ever taken the time to acknowledge that we are the children of Israel. You know? To teach us the truth of the matter. You just say, no, we're going to keep silent. We're just going to worry about our own. We got a lot of our people, because only a lot of our people like anime or whatever, right? Especially black women, right? A lot of them moved to Japan, thinking this is just so nice, but only to realize they don't like your ass neither. Yeah. Okay? But wait a minute, I love anime, yeah, but that's for them to make money off of it. They really don't want you in their area. Yeah. But you thought because you played Americans, you go in the land of Ammon, so to speak, oh, it's supposed to be better. They don't like you neither. No matter how much you love their culture, you can learn how to speak fluent Japanese. You can learn their culture, you learn all that. They still don't like you. I know a lot of black women that do that because they love anime and cosplaying and stuff. So they thinking I completed Japan as a way to escape, and I can get opportunities, and I can make anime and all this. When you get over there, and they basically tell you so. You know, yes, you got to deal with racism over there. Yes, they tell their sons and their daughters the same thing. Stay away from the Israelites. Same thing. They all have an agreement. There's videos of Edomites and their Moabite girlfriends or whatever having a blast, and the brothers in the room and all that. Thinking everybody's watching, oh, it's so funny. But first of all, she wouldn't allow her daughter to deal with no Jake. And if she did, they wouldn't be happy. She's not, they tell their daughters, you can deal with your own or deal with a so-called white man, deal with a Edomite. That's the agreement. That's why she said Moab and Seir. They always working together. See? But just know you ain't included. That's why I be wanting people to know, because they be doing these videos right about how in Europe you can walk all over you can walk everywhere, food is or whatever, there's appreciation. And they're talking about how life is so much better out the state. But what our people don't realize is they not talking to you.
That's right.
They talking to each other. When they talk about coming to East Europe, life is better and all this, they not putting that ad out for you Negroes, Latinos, and everything. But that's why you all get, because the guy who's doing the video saying, look at that, life is so much better east, we can explore for them ads ain't for you. You don't have a place to call home. Brother read it earlier. Who shall be home? Them ads they talking for themselves because they think Europe is the next homeland for them. Because it's their land. Because they ruined it, so to speak. They not advertising for y'all, man. they're not talking about come over here, life is so much better for you. You got to realize the only one that actually cares about you is Yahweh. Right. Other nations, they don't care about you. When they talk about better life elsewhere, they're not talking about you. It's not an ad for you. It's for themselves. You know, you just happen to be watching it. You know, but that's how down our people are. They think, oh yeah, that's true. We think they're not talking about you. It's not for you.
Got a quick one because I know Russell talks about how Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom have their peace. Yeah. This is Isaiah 11 and verse 10. And in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, Yahushua, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek, and rest shall be his glorious from of the Israelite foreigners and basically the kingdom of heaven. Verse 11, it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. And he shall set up an ensign for the nation, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah on the four corners of the earth. The enemy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim. But they shall fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines towards the west. They shall spoil them of the west, east together. They shall lay their hand upon Edom and Moab and the children of Ammon, and Ammon shall obey them.
Moab, Esau, Ammon, you know? So that strife between the tribes is going to be done away with. Because I've basically heard a lot from all the tribes, like even Gad. There are Gadites out there that think that, no, we are our own people. We ain't got nothing to do with y'all. They actually say that we Native Americans, we don't include us in the Israelites. We are our own, you know, we are our own thing. Look, my nigga, I'm talking to you, okay? We're the same people. When you went through hell, we was right there with you. Whenever they passed the law saying it wasn't no Native American thing, it was black. Negro, black, or they would say Indian. You got put a byword on you like Indian, which they said it was savage. Just like they put on us Negroes and blacks. Literally, together. You know? Oh, what's that? Jeremiah 50. So you Jeremiah 50.
Israel are pressed together.
But they think they're different. So you see it from the tribe, the strife between. You already know you got the black on the Israelite, okay? And then you got the ones like Anton Daniels. Our problem ain't, that's their problem, the immigration. You know what I'm saying? Same deal. You still got it between the two. They think they're more special because they think, like Anton Daniels, well, I got more appreciation in America, you know? How you figure? You think you're really different? So they all looking up to the oppressor like we're different. You know? Like we talking about Simeon, Dominicans, they think I ain't got nothing to do with black people. Dominicans, we got our own culture and all that. You know, first of all, okay, Spanish was forced upon you. That wasn't your original language. You didn't know. You were conquered, that's why they call them the conquistadors. Okay? You were conquered and you were forced to learn Spanish. But you know, Northern King, they take so much pride in Spanish, which I understand, but just know that wasn't the language you spoke before. That was forced upon you. Mm-hmm. Right? By the same people that put us in slavery. Same deal. But they think there's a difference there. When it's the same. You know, we're the same people. But you know that strife don't come to an end. We still got to deal with it, even it's true. Like I said, you got black only Israelites. You got people who leave comments. That brother very helpful. They'll put on comments. I don't know, he ain't going to fight about it. Because, you know, they're looking at appearance. So brothers be having to deal with that. It actually weigh on a lot of brothers' spirit, you know, so they need company. Right? So that strife, because it really does, instead of what? You shall not vex people, you shall not envy. So it's always vexing back and forth, envying back and forth, all that shit gonna come to an end. And when you read the scriptures, you see that stuff really began like when we started kings and whatnot, because it was given to Judah, and he made them, they had to pay tribute and all that stuff. So all that strife began back when we had our war and stuff, and then it extended our idolatry. That's it.
And another reason on this side, like why Gad don't want nothing to do with Judah per se, is because, well, one, Esau put us against each other in the Buffalo Wars, right? If you understand what happened then, it was basically Esau had Judah, Southern Kingdom, going to war against Gad, you know? So,
I was gonna say it, but Wild Martin,
And they also oppressed the Native Americans by Gad by having them do what they call quantum blood tests, where they determine if you're full Native American by your blood. So you can actually get quote-unquote benefits only if you could prove you're 3/4 what they would consider Native American. That's oppression in itself, man. They're telling you you're not more, this person's more of a guy than you, right? Because you can apply for quote-unquote benefits, but that shit ain't shit, all right? And you got to do a blood test. If you're subject to testing to prove your own heritage so that the devil who took this land from you can then give you some type of handout. That's an insult. That ain't no different from the same shit we go through, man. Literally the same affliction, the same people.
hey, Dad was your person. Bro, I gotta prove something to you over there. Down with Dad.
yeah, you got that $5 Indian thing where Gad was, I mean, not Gad, but Esau was, you know, taking the benefits that they were supposed to be giving to Gad by claiming, oh, I got a drop of Native American blood in me. I'm Native American.
Like you see a Edomite female shave the side of her head.
Yeah.
And had the other side. Oh yeah, I'm that's my heritage.
I'm Choctaw. I'm Choctaw Esau.
The northern and
I'm Choctaw Edomite.
Oh yeah, start at 10, right?
That's why the scripture say a method of no. Jeremiah, where it says they oppress of no. Micah, where it says the oppressive man is on everything.
Just find it.
This is the book of Revelations, chapter 11, starting at the 10th verse, and it reads, "And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them, and make merry, and shall send gifts to one another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwelled on the earth."
They're talking about the Israelites, northern and southern, and said what they made merry and send gifts because of our downfall. So let another nation come up for us and say, well, wait a minute, what did I do to deserve slavery? More so, what didn't you do? You just stood by and watched, right? You got to pay for that. Because you and your family capitalized off of our downfall, and you know it. You know it. You can spill the beans on what you guys really talk about behind the scenes, or how you really feel about us behind the scenes. You could if you wanted to, you know?
God, verse 11, "And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from God power entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them."
Which is literally what we opened up with, because we talked about how Esau wasn't banking on divine intervention. That 3 days and a half represents the time we went into slavery to up until, you say, 1968, 1969 was when the truth came out. And now that we have the truth, guess what? Great fear is falling upon all of us. It's literally happening as we speak.
Verse 12, "And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, Come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. And the same hour was there a great earthquake."
I want verse 8.
Sorry.
Okay, verse 8, we read it, but yeah, verse 8. Yeah.
Revelation 11, verse 8, "And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves.
Right. Who's they talking about? The Israelites being in the lower state, spiritually dead. As the scripture tells you, like in Ezekiel, we basically dry bones. We didn't have any skin or any muscle, any tissue or like that. And the other nations saw it, right? 3 days and a half when we was in slavery, up until the time. They said what? He didn't suffer the dead bodies be put in graves, because when you go back to our custom, even if you was wicked, you still were put to rest as far as getting a burial. Still, a wicked king still got a burial, right? The only times you didn't is when the Lord really was pissed off and you were accursed. Okay? Because in the ancient, being buried was very big. Abraham wanted to be buried next to his father, Sarah. Same with Jacob, etc. They were very, I want you to bury me over here, that's my father and all that. So burial was very important. And even like I said, even if it was a wicked king or whatever, they still say he rested with his father. Right. If you were like Jezebel, a wicked wretch, right? She didn't get a burial. She got eaten, her course was eaten, you know? And that's a curse. Though he also did it to another family. But that Eli, his son, but it was one which was a young Jacob. The Lord said, in him there is something, so at the very least he gonna get a burial. Yeah, go ahead.
Zechariah 1 and 15. I am very sore displeased with the heathen. They are at ease.
No, go ahead.
Said, they help forward their affliction. Therefore thus says the Lord, I am returned to Jerusalem with mercy. My house shall be built in it, said the Lord of hosts. And the line shall be spread forth upon Jerusalem.
Hey, can you go to, I got the Zechariah 11 and 5. Yeah.
This is Zechariah chapter 11 and verse 5. I'll start at 4. Thus says the Lord, my power, feed the flock of the slaughter, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not.
Right. Read that again.
Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty, and they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. Yeah, these Edomites who have possessed us, even the rest of the capitalized off of our captivity, you know, they do anything, you know, almost under the sun, and they're not brought to justice, you know, or they make an excuse why it's justifiable for them to do certain things to us. But you know, the Lord consider us the apple of his eye, and he's gonna require all the on judgment day. You know, they're gonna have to account for all that. Just like Book of Wisdom of Solomon, I believe it's chapter 5. You know, where they made no account of our labors, man. They didn't ever settle up with us or give us anything for slavery, coming out of slavery. You know, we don't have a significant place here. You know, in fact, they try to get rid of us now that we did all the work. We're looked at as an eyesore to this place. You know, and our own shepherd, these so-called pastors, they don't tell our people the truth. They don't, whether they know or not, they don't tell our people the truth. They just look at them as dollar signs and make merchandise for our people. You know, they in cahoots with our oppressors, man. You know, so they gonna have to answer to that as well.
Right? I can't find it, but there was a family who the Lord said that he's gonna destroy all their acting. Okay. Let's go there. subject and he wasn't as bad. So the Lord said he gonna have to bury you. So the point is that if you didn't have that, you were considered cursed. You were kind of like roadkill, basically. You just ride and people just looking at you like, damn, you know, that over there. Right. And so when the other nations see us in our state that we was in, they didn't take the time to comfort us, or to, like I said, to suffer their bodies put in graves to at least get us some type of comfort or enlightenment. We just read they tried to forward it. So everybody's capitalized off of it. Until what? We come to this point where we here now, where we got the truth. You see? So that's why you other nations got to pay, and because of what you didn't do, and because of what you did. Because you know that your family, your wealth, and all that generates from our people being in captivity in some way, somehow. You know that those opportunities weren't given. You know you got backdoor ways in up the ladder and stuff. You know that, you know? And you know that your agreement is that so long as you all agree that we help oppress the Israelites together, then we can all try to live a nice life together, you know? That's what I'm saying.
Psalms 83 and 2, for lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and they consult against thine holy one. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Keep going. Get some of those nations.
For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacle of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab and the Hagarim, Jebel and Ammon and Amalek and the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre.
Yeah. See, it said Edom and Moab, didn't it?
Yep.
That's how you know that Amalek is a special evil. Okay? Because you got, isn't Amalek the Edomite? Yeah, but that's a special evil. That's literally the worst of the worst. Esau is the worst. Amalek is the worst of the worst. Those are your so-called 1948ers. Those are the ones that's leading you to war. Those are the ones that say, you all are just Goyim. Yeah. Those are the worst of the worst. And when you go to the origins of everything that's considered bad, they're behind it. They're the ones that run the prawn industry. Okay, it's actually a so-called rabbi that runs the prawn industry. You know, why nobody questioning that? Okay, yes they own the media. Yes they own the WEF. Yes they own the CDC. Okay. What else are they the origins of? We talked about slavery. Yes, those slave ships, 90% of those was the 1948ers. Aaron Lopez, he was a very wealthy Amalekite, and he had a very big hand in the slave trade. You ain't never learned that in slavery, though. I mean, in history, you know? What else they responsible for? People mad at BlackRock and all these people buying up all these lands. Guess who's Amalekite? Something to think. Larry Fink.
The FDA, Food and Drug Administration.
Yes, bankers.
Vanguard, yep, you own that. You got but they basically behind it all. The origins is behind it all. You know, goes back to them. Yeah, what else was it?
You got the Bilderberg group, you got the Carlisle group, you got the CFR, you got a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, Carlisle.
That's kind of the truth, right?
Yeah. Hey, you got
Carlisle group and Bilderberg group is really the entire family. Foreign ministers, senators, ex-senators, presidents, they're all in the CFR, different groups. The Bush family is one that runs the Carlisle group.
This motherfucker probably won.
Ralph Lauren.
Steve.
Ralph Lauren, his real name is Lauren Lipschitz. That's another thing they do. They change their name. Okay? So
Last time I heard there was a regular.
but everybody want to brag on their clothing brand.
Right.
Gucci, all them. You go there, that's owned by Emily. Where's your own? But they'll pay your actors and your celebrities to wear it. But why don't they get them a deal to make their own brand? No, they just there to make the money for them, broadcasting for them. So a lot of you rappers, you boast in wearing the clothes of your oppressor. But where's your own brand?
Like CeeLo Green. He's been coming out making these rap on videos now. Like he's just so stylish. Like
That guy, Jerry Seinfeld. You know that whole show is basically Amalek.
Yeah.
He's an Amalekite. Jason Alexander, if you change his name, he's an Amalekite. Elaine Bennett, she's an Amalekite. And I think Kramer is. I think he is. They all Amalek. You know, that was a show about them, and I think their characters are about Amalek too. Amalekites too. You know. So they're behind it. Much as you, I love Seinfeld. Yeah, well, he would never sign you again.
That's right.
He would never put you on it. He would never help you out. All his stuff is about him, them, themselves. You know? What else? There's so much you can name because they're behind it all. Like I said, if there's anything behind the evil, they're behind it all. The origins of really all this shit.
See, Jerry Seinfeld was the one who called that woman a nigger in the middle of his comedy show. He like, she's a nigger. She's a nigger. She said, that was Kramer. I thought it was Jerry Seinfeld.
He's a bad comedian. He wants to be funny.
Yeah, he was from the show.
Right.
He wants to be funny, but he's terrible. He has a terrible reputation amongst other people because he's not funny.
He's not. Right.
He's not that funny. I had something called something. Oh, he just read that.
I never read actually the first book.
Yeah, go ahead and read that.
Ezra chapter 1 and verse 1, and it reads, Now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled, the Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom and put it also in writing, saying, Thus says Cyrus, king of Persia, the Lord God of heaven hath given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he hath charged me to build him a house at Jerusalem, which is in Judah. Who is there among you of all his people? His guide will be with him, and let him go up to Jerusalem, which is in Judah, and build the house of the Lord God of Israel. He is the God which is in Jerusalem. And whosoever remaineth in any place where he sojourneth, let men of his place humble with silver and with gold and with goods and with beasts, besides the freewill offering for the house of the Most High, that is in Jerusalem. Verse 5, Then rose up the chief of the fathers of Judah and Benjamin, and the priests and the Levites, with all them whose spirit God had raised to go up to build a house of the Lord which is in Jerusalem. And all they that were about them strengthened their hands with vessels of silver, with gold, with goods, and with beasts.
Right? So what you should have been at least is like Cyrus. Because he acknowledged the Lord set me up. He established me. That's what you Edomites don't get. You think you establish yourself. You think you, through your force, you establish the kingdom on this side forever. Right? But the best thing you should have been was like Cyrus, which he acknowledged. Okay, it was your God that set me up. He gave me the kingdom, etc. You know? So, here. Get your stuff together so you can make your temple and all that. That's the best way you should have been. Because he acknowledged the Lord established us, so I'm going to help you, and because he gave me the commandment, I'm going to do that. Even Nebuchadnezzar, he knew, yes, the Lord is almighty, he had set me up, but then he got proud. And then the Lord had to put that beast spirit upon him. So, because the Lord said, he basically told the Israelites, if you don't resist the Babylonians, you're going to come in safe, and I'm going to make it to where you can go back to your own land. Because the king of Babylon, the Lord's going to put the spirit on him to do it, right? Because he understood it's the Lord that gave me all of this. So you other nations, the best thing you could have done this whole time was either not have a hand in our downfall, try to help, offer bread or water, or try to comfort at least. But you didn't do that. You all capitalized. Therefore, you all got to pay. You other nations, you're going to pay. You say, well, what did we do? Well, what did you do? You know, you knew the truth. You knew the history behind it. Don't try to play stupid. You know the deal. That's why you treat our people different. Like if you go to Tokyo, you treat their race on purpose. You know the deal. So instead of instead of trying to act like you don't know, the Lord knows. You laughed at our calamity. You got your own like blackface and all that stuff going on over there, celebrations to make fun of us. The Lord sees all of that. He takes it on purpose.
So hilarious. It's so funny. But meanwhile, your ass burn when you go out to the damn sun. You got that damn. It was like a sunburn competition. Wow. Well, all them damn people ain't going out there in the sun. How you doing?
Sunburn competition. Wow.
Is that recent? You said the sunburn thing?
Yeah. I think they have it like every year.
Y'all seen some more? That shit was disgusting.
Every year. Wow.
They're like,
You guys, I went to the 7th-day Adventist convention that was here. You guys are beautiful just like they are. I'm waiting for Elijah.
Keep waiting. Wait.
All right.
I hope that's what them 7-day people say.
She do the Irish black woman kind of but you know,
All right.
black
Let's
two
go.
people down.
Too late. I'm telling you.
This is Obadiah. Let's go at verse 12.
He said, yeah, that's what you got to
Matter of fact, I'll say that. In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was as one of them. But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger, neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction, neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. Thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape. Neither shouldest thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen, and as thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thy own head.
Right? Because they stood in the way, they helped them when the Lord used the other nations destroyers, they jumped in to help. They was helping them. Look, one went that way, one went that way. Well, they'll cut us off. That's what they did. So the Lord said, since you did that, you gotta pay.
Yeah.
So guess what you should have did? You should have minded your own damn business.
That's it.
Or you should have took some in to help them, protect them. You should have did something. But because you saw that your brother was falling, right, and you wanted to jump in, you helped. That's what you gotta pay. You know?
Lamentations chapter 4, verse 21. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken, and thou shalt make thyself naked. The punishment of thy iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thy iniquity, O daughter of Edom, in
will discover thy sins. So as the scripture says in Revelation 18, says, give unto her double. So the affliction that we went through, the Lord gonna give it to you, Edomites, for double, man. No mercy either, man.
Because you didn't show any mercy to us. So everything we're going to do is going to be the spirit of the Lord.
That's right.
Your treatment is going to be back to you because that's how you treat it. Same with you other nations. You're going to be in the pit too. You're going to be in slavery too. Especially on I already said on mine, you all going to be low because Esau is in the pit. Amalek will be in the deep pit. And all you presidents, you're on my plantation, you're going to be treated as Amalek. Anybody that vouches for those fucking devils, you're going to be treated like one.
Yes.
So you learn to hate them. I'm going to turn you into a fool for us. You're going to learn to hate them. Then, okay, your regular Edomite privileges have been restored. You can now come up from the deep pit to the pit. You know what I'm saying? All y'all that want to vouch for them, you're going to get treated like one. You learn to hate. You know what I'm saying? But all you other nations, you're going to be low too. Because, like I said, we can only see what we've seen. The Lord sees everything from behind the scenes. He sees exactly what you all have taken part of against us. And everything you said at the dinner table. Right. Laughing at us. The Lord, note that. The angels, note that. You're talking all that shit. Okay? I got something for him. Okay? I got something for him. And here's a revelation that you all going to realize real soon when we're saying it now. It's this right here. Go ahead.
Con, this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 39. Starting at the 21st verse, and it reads, I will set my glory among the heathen, and all the heathen shall see my judgment that I have executed, and my hand that I have laid upon them. So the house of Israel shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh, their God, from that day and forward. And the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity, because they have trespassed against me. Therefore I hid my face from them, and gave them unto the hand of their enemies. So fell they all by the sword, according to their uncleanness, and according to their transgression I have done unto them, and hid my face from them. Therefore thus saith the Lord God, now will I bring again the captivity of Jacob, and have mercy upon the whole house of Israel, and I will be jealous for my holy name. After that they have borne their shame, and all their trespasses whereby they have trespassed against me, when they dwell safely in their land. See that? And none made them afraid. When I have brought them again from the people, and gathered them out of their enemies' lands, and am sanctified in them in the sight of many nations. Then shall they know that I am the Lord Yahweh their God, which caused them to be led into captivity among the heathen. But I have gathered them unto their own land, and have have left none of them anymore. Neither will I hide my face from them. Neither will I hide my face anymore from them, for I have poured out my spirit upon the house of Israel, saith the Lord God Yahweh.
You other nations don't know it's only because we moved into wrath, which is why you were allowed to take us down. That's it. It's a higher force that's keeping us down. Right? That's the only reason we were able to take us down. Not because you're so mighty, not because you're so much smarter, not because you're so much more beautiful, right? You think you're beautiful, you think your women are beautiful, you know what I'm saying? But really they're not, okay? They stink. Okay? They have poor hygiene, okay? You stink. You guys brought disease, you brought light. You brought measles and the cold, and there was no such thing as a common cold before you guys got over here. Yeah, you brought that over here because of your tuberculosis, poor hygiene, poor diet, poor your strange hobbies. You know, even your sense of humor is off. Your sense of humor is balls, penises, and nutsacks, and anus. You know? You'd be surprised at how quick they say a joke, a dirty joke. That you're like, how do you think it? But they quick to say
One time, he was on the Cyclops head. Last house. That bastard. I went into the, when I was I can't remember what oh yeah, that's right. I asked him where another Edomite that was helping me with that. He like, oh yeah, he just came to fucking me an ass, you know? Everybody in there started laughing. I was the only one that wasn't laughing. I'm like, yeah.
Because that's how they think. You just talk about holes or something, they gotta make some type of joke. You know, I don't know how the topic is like. Talk about some brown hole. I'm like, you got to think, oh, you motherfuckers evil. That's all y'all think is perverted shit. All day long. You know? So even about you is everything about you is off. There's nothing special about you. The only reason that we fail is because the Lord put us down. We angered him. To other nations, you're gonna realize the same thing. You Moabites, you just because your book smart doesn't equate to common sense. You're not so much better or whatever. You gotta build nets and roofs to keep your people from off the roof. You know? They feel a test and they wanna commit seppuku. You know? That's the end of the world. You know? So y'all lack life. Y'all lack creativity. Y'all aren't just this special people that just prosper or flourish. Ishmael, okay? You still perverted too. Because as much as you want to say all Dubai's land or whatever, you guys take fetishes and getting American women over there so y'all can do and all manner of debauchery against them. And these are your princes that got money. This is what y'all do when y'all wealthy.
Yeah, and it was Marine. Saying like, yeah, like and basically we called the Arabs. The Israelites, it was over there. They said that woman is for babies, little boy is for fun. You know?
So yeah. But this is what they do when they're rich. Man. This is what y'all do in y'all spare time. Paying money to run a ring to get women over there to defecate on them and shit like that. That's what you willing to do in your spare time with all your leisure. You guys are fucking heathens too, man. You know what I'm saying?
Eat camel too.
Yep, you're not supposed to eat that. But y'all supposed to be Abraham's y'all supposed to be Abraham's son, right? You know? But you eating camel and shit. Why you doing that? Yeah. You're not supposed to do that. That's against the law. But all you other nations, you all gonna realize we really the chosen. We just angered our Lord. That's gonna take a blow to Esau's pride when he realized the Lord gonna say, I set you up, man. I was mad at them, so I chose you to be the last. You the basest man on the earth. I chose the basest of the base to be in power. Like we talked about Amalek. They the ones that really secret run us. They the worst of the worst. The Lord chose them to be in, not because they earned it, not because they're smarter, no, because the Lord allowed you to do it. So all y'all gonna realize, man, you're all gonna pay for what you did to us, and what you didn't do, and what you still refused to do. Okay? I got anything else? So that will give our praise too.
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Hakadosh.
The next time, Shalom.
Shalom.